Back in the early 1970s, the state of Tennessee, by legislative act, allowed the configuration and startup of educational cooperatives. Clinch-Powell originated from that act. Originally, there was only 2 counties that was members of Clinch-Powell. Today, we have 6 counties representing around 17,000 students. The sole purpose that Clinch-Powell was ever designed, developed, and chartered was to provide additional benefits and resources to the rural counties in East Tennessee. And I think through the years they have done so. We administer some state, some federal grants, and as what an educational cooperative is really designed to do is to provide trainings to teachers that will help benefit student learning. Clinch-Powell is a very rural area in eastern Tennessee. All the counties that are served by Clinch-Powell Educational Cooperative are very high poverty, very high free and reduced lunch. Approximately 75 to 80% of all students in Clinch-Powell will receive either free or reduced lunch. We also have high unemployment. 2 of the counties that are members of Clinch-Powell, Scott and Hancock, are 2 of the highest unemployment rates in our entire state. So you're looking at a rural area that is geographically challenged as well due to a lot of mountains, lakes, and access for infrastructure needs. It's just a really difficult area, a beautiful part of the state and of our country, but it is challenged in many ways. A little over 5 years ago, when I retired as director of schools in Granger County, which is a member of Clinch-Powell, and was appointed to the executive director position at Clinch-Powell, I knew that LMU was right in the heart of our service area. And as a result, we started trying to develop a partnership with Lincoln Memorial University because we knew that they had the resources, the assets, the infrastructure that would really benefit our region. We made the contacts, and early on after I first arrived, and the first initiative that we ever had was held at the Lincoln Memorial Knoxville, Tennessee site, and we had a national speaker come in from New Jersey, a Dr. Sandra Alberti, and we met here and had a PD day, had about 150 teachers in attendance with supervisors, directors of schools, had a great day. And from that point on, we've just enhanced those capabilities and numerous opportunities. I had a good relationship with a friend in West Tennessee by the name of Joe T. Wood when I was director of schools, and he was a director of schools in the western part of our state. He went to work with Battelle for Kids when the state of Tennessee got one of the first to the top grants. And some of that money was contracted to Battelle for Kids for them to do a lot of PD work, provide internet training, whatever was really needed educationally speaking for the entire state. And due to the acquaintance that I had with Mr. Wood, we brought him up here and we introduced him to LMU, and they have been an integral part of our partnership trainings, our professional development days. We have a portal that LMU has purchased along with Clinch-Powell that provides just a world of information and resources for our school districts. They have a base camp where a lot of ideals are posted. It's just been a great relationship between Battelle for Kids, LMU, and Clinch-Powell. Clinch-Powell, in a way, you could look at it as an extension arm of our core offices. Core offices meaning centers of excellence in our state that are funded and ran by state of the Department of Education employees in our state. But Clinch-Powell is similar to a core office in that we provide resources free resources to school districts where we have partnered with Lincoln Memorial or a community college to use their facilities, to use their expertise, their staff and professors. So we have just been like a mediator between a Battelle for Kids and an LMU for our 6 county school systems. We had a wonderful day back in August of 2014. We had talked about it for a year or two of having a 6 county wide in-service training day and try to get all 6 counties to participate with their teachers, supervisors, administrators, and directors. Well, logistically, it was difficult to do that because we are geographically challenged in location and mileage from LMU to some of our counties, but we did still have all 6 counties participate to some extent. Some had all of their employees, some had a partial amount of their employees, but the bottom line was we ended up with approximately 1,000 educators at Lincoln Memorial in Tex Turner Arena, which is a beautiful basketball arena at the Harrogate campus. We also had 2 special guests. One of them was the governor of our state, Governor Bill Haslam. I had contacted his office and he got back in touch with us, and I told him what we were planning, and he thought it was a wonderful opportunity for him to come up, meet with some of the teachers. He did so. We also had Dr. Jim Mahoney, who's the CEO of Battelle for Kids, who came and was the keynote speaker for our day. But we had just an absolutely wonderful day. We had trainings set, and some were ran by Battelle for Kids staff. LMU professors hosted some of the PD training. So we had different, we broke all the teachers up like in K3, 5, 6, so on and so forth, and then we had training set up all day long. We provided lunch. We had a wonderful day that day, and it was one of the first, if not the first times anything like that in our state had ever taken place. Well, Clinch-Powell has a board of directors. The superintendent of school and 1 school board member from each of the 6 counties are automatically on the Clinch-Powell Board of Directors. Then we have 2 other directors. One comes from a higher ed and one comes from the State Department of Education. So our higher ed just happens to be Dr. Teresa Bicknell, the Assistant Dean of the College of Education at Lincoln Memorial. So in our meetings, we had talked and got other input from Dr. Clyburn at Lincoln Memorial about an advisory council. So we had each one of the directors of schools to select 2 representatives from their county. We really wanted a teacher, a classroom teacher, and 1 administrator. So they did, and we started our first meeting, and Lincoln Memorial hosted that event for us. And what we tried to do is not meet to meet, but to actually have an agenda to plan events for our counties. And we would bring those people in. I would lead the meeting, but we would have a chairperson, and we would discuss opportunities. We would discuss issues that they thought needed brought to their teachers, what type of training they would need, and then we would try our best through Lincoln Memorial or Battelle for Kids to find someone that could provide that training. So that's really been a big benefit to our cooperative, is the advisory council. On numerous occasions, we have had the core director from the Knoxville office to come to those meetings, and she would bring data, test data from the State Department, and each system could see where their strengths and weaknesses were, and then they could shop talk between themselves. If this county was doing something really good and they weren't, then they could compare notes. What did you do? How did you get there? And how long did it take? So that's what the Advisory Council was set up to do, and it has been, as you said, very valuable tool that we use to determine what our next step is going to be for our teachers. With Lincoln Memorial being an integral part of Clinch-Powell, it just gives credence to what we're doing. Teachers can see that Lincoln Memorial's own staff is participating in some of the events that our classroom teachers are being trained in, which I think is absolutely wonderful. Lots of universities, I feel like, will stay up on the big tall pedestal. LMU got down to where that they would listen to us of what we needed, and they would try their best to help us provide it, or provide resources, provide the infrastructure needs. As I said, they purchased a web portal that was designed by Battelle for Kids that has been really, really beneficial for our teachers across the region. So they've been invaluable to get to the point where we are today. We took baby steps, because when I first got there, we really wasn't doing what I thought an educational cooperative should be, but with the help of Lincoln Memorial and Battelle for Kids, we have really met the needs, I feel like, of the teachers in our service area.